Hello and welcome to Pills in a Pod, a podcast where we feature healthcare leaders, game changers, and change makers. Today we have someone who's changing the game in the nutraceutical industry. Sanjay Mariwala is an entrepreneur, leader, and mentor. He's the executive chairman and managing director of Omniactive Health Technologies Limited, a company he founded in 2004 to focus on preventive healthcare by providing natural ingredients for the health and wellness products. Welcome Sanjay to the show.
Thank you, Ali. It's a pleasure to be here and to talk to your audiences and perhaps spread the message, be the messiah.
I'm looking forward to a great show, Sanjay. I want to start with your journey right from the beginning. I mean, it was a family business that you were in, I'm assuming, Bombay Oil Industries, and then you led Cancor Ingredients.
That's right.
Okay, and I think your early years shape a lot about you, right? So what were your early years like?
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting background point. I think one of the benefits I've had of the joint family business has been exposure to many areas of business. Families have variety of portfolios of businesses, and we have used that very well to train up youngsters. I got the benefit of the most of the training because I started off as a sales rep for Parachute Coconut Oil. Then I went on to build a brand management for Saffola. Then I went on to a project of converting those are the days when Parachute converted from tins into plastics.
Yes.
So the first company to do that in India, and I was involved in that project. So it was lots of learning how the plastics evolved in packaging for oil. So those were great learning opportunities. Then I was shifted to international businesses, which we had some chemicals businesses, industrial chemical businesses out of Bombay, and I trained a bit on that. And then there was an opportunity that opened up in Cochin, which is our spice extracts and botanicals division. And that was a company that was a unit that was established by Bombay Oil Industries somewhere in the 70s and was not running very well. And as I joined in, I was given the option to say, उसको जाके देखो, कुछ करो, उसको either turn it around or let's figure out a way to sell it.
Correct.
Let's figure out the positioning in the industry and do something about it, because let's not stick to a business that is
Not
like
profitable.
a lemon.
Yeah.
Not profitable. But be careful, there are unions and all kinds of things. This is Kerala, so you have to manage all that.
Yeah.
So I was just about to get married, and I got married, and I told my wife, let's go down to Cochin for 2 years. She was happy to go because, freshly married, she said, I don't want to live with my mother-in-law, I'm happy to go to Cochin and set up my own house, and we went there, okay. And we ended up living there for 24 years.
Oh wow, really?
So that was the beginning of a very interesting career and fun, and I learned a lot about natural products through that process, because these are all natural extracts and essential oils that we were making for food industry and for the perfumery and personal care industry. But all through the last maybe 8 or 10 years of my being there, out of those 24 years, I mean, the first few years was spent on learning a lot about the business and then making it profitable and expanding and growing it. So it was doing very little revenues of below 1 crore a year. I think I've brought it up to about 600 crores.
What?
600 crores.
600x.
And then we said, Abhi kya karne ka isko? What should we do? And at that point of time, I said, I'm getting bored with this business now, because it's a commodity business. Not only was I getting bored with the business, because I was involved, I had built up a good team, I brought in the right people, they were running the business. Every time I was on leave or vacation or traveling, they would produce more money than I could make. So I think, why should I be interfering with them? That was my thought. And I said, the most important thing that bothered me was, it was something that was bothering me to say, this is not my own entrepreneurship.
Okay.
This is inheritance.
Yes.
Okay. I inherited something and I have done it. So I've been a good manager, but I have not been an entrepreneur of my own.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to do something entrepreneurial and I wanted to do something new. And then I started chalking my designs out to say, kya karna chahiye? What should we do? So one lesson I learned through years was that you should build on strengths.
Yes.
So what was my strength? As I understood natural products, I understood sourcing and commodity buying, I understood agriculture that fed into this thing, and I understood how the extracts can be made to work more effectively in formulations and in customers. And I learned to deal with international customers across the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those were the things I laid down, and I said, if I were to build a business around this, where would I build it?
Yeah.
Then I said, should we do B2C or B2B? And I said, no, we are strong in B2B, we don't understand B2C. And I believe any business that starts, new and it's relatively new, should start with where we have the shortest path to making profits.
Absolutely.
Because ultimately it's why are you in business? To make profits.
Yes.
Okay. Now this is an important point that is always been with me, that I am not a new age entrepreneur who burns capital and gets more capital to burn it, and then you become such a size that too large to fail, too big to fail.
Correct.
I don't want to be in that situation.
Yeah.
I want to make money and make my value on the basis of the money I make.
Yes.
That's been my training and that's been my psychology. So we focused on that, and we created a map of which products we could enter into. Took a small team out of Kankor, locked them up in a little laboratory in a conference room. In Cochin, everybody used to call it the NASA room.
Oh,
it was
wow.
one hidden room, nobody knew what it was. And there were only 5 people who have access to it, because there were walls had charts and everything about various things we were doing. And they used to call it the NASA room.
Oh, lovely.
So that was funny. But we made, we identified that we will go into not personal care, not food, but healthcare products, because we believed that at that point in time healthcare was just starting to open up. Natural products for healthcare were just starting to open up, and we believed at that point in time truly that if we made a mark and did something unique and different, we could write the rules in this industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even being an Indian company, we could still write the rules in this industry. So the rules are still getting formed.
Yeah.
See, the food businesses are old businesses. Okay? There are companies which are generally out of US and Europe that drive the food business rules.
That's right. That's right.
If you look at personal care and cosmetic businesses, French companies write the rules. Okay, so you don't get to write the rules.
Yes.
Here, I believe that we could write the rules. Okay, how to compete, what to compete on, what would be the order of branding, what should be the process of creating finished products here in this business. So that all was in perspective when we designed the company. We designed a company which said that we are going to be catering to the world from India, make in India, sell to the world. This was before Narendra Modi was anywhere around. Okay, and we thought of make in India, sell to the world concept at that is, and we said we will build on those strengths and put up a range of products that can work across the world. But we would need a toehold in US, which is the largest market. So from the day we incorporated the company, Omniactives, we also incorporated a subsidiary company in the US, which would have a person, and we'll work from day one, getting the feedback from the market and then producing products.
Got it.
As if we don't have a lens on the product customer, you will never be able to do a good job.
Correct.
So that was the beginning of Omniactives.
But you call it Omniactive Health Tech, which means you were health tech before health tech was health tech.
So tech for us Indians is generally IT, but this is not necessarily IT.
Yeah,
Tech is not necessarily IT.
Yeah, I know.
Tech also means technical interventions in various ways.
Correct.
Okay? Technology comes into play in science, for example.
Yes.
See, ours was highly science-driven business. Ours is a science-driven business. We got to dig into databases across the world, and we use technology to transform science, literature into practicals.
Yes.
Okay. What we do is let's say we start with the customer. The customer tells us what are they looking for as in which areas of consumer benefits. See, consumers don't buy products.
Yeah.
They buy benefits that come from products.
True. Absolutely. Well said.
So if they buy benefits, what are the benefits we are promising them is what we should focus on.
Yes.
And to promise a benefit, we need to understand the material better. That what does it do? Assume that we are building a sleep product. The consumers want something better than what is the current available sleep product.
Correct.
What is that better we need to define, and then look for ingredients that can meet that better. So to scan those ingredients, we need to run through a series of databases, find all the agricultural raw materials that have these actives present in it, so actives that work on these pathways. So we need to have biochemistry involved in it. So which pathways? So that is technology again. Okay. So all this is technology. So people ask me what tech means. Are you doing IT? I said no. This is tech means I'm doing real tech.
Real tech.
And then technology to extract it, technology to isolate it, technology to make it available in a bioavailable form,
Yeah.
to make it stable. And see, natural products are unstable products. They don't last long.
Yeah.
how can you create a product which lasts 2, 3, 4 years,
Yes.
and people are able to use it more efficaciously. Okay, efficacy doesn't drop. These are things which are required.
Correct.
So we built such. So we have a tech center. We have 2 tech centers. We have one tech center which develops delivery technologies and one tech center which develops products. Okay, the way extraction.
You make it sound very fluid, you make it sound very easy. What are the challenges you faced?
So I think, see, challenges are there in every business.
Yeah.
But you got to anticipate those and build for those. Okay. The challenges come in terms of, initial challenges would be identifying the right type of partners to work with.
Yeah.
Whether it's in distribution, selling, whether it's in manufacturing and learning technologies. Okay. The challenges come in your skills and capabilities to hire the right people, because initially you don't have the resources to hire the right people.
Absolutely.
Or the best people. You will hire the right people but may not be the best people.
Yeah.
So it takes time to build up a solid team. I think those are challenges. The third big challenge we had is, where do we recruit from? Because this industry doesn't exist.
Yes.
It's a new industry.
Yeah.
And people don't understand this very well. They have some various definitions like spice extracts for flavors and colorings, or essential oils for perfumery. They don't have the expertise of converting that into knowledge for healthcare. And manufacturing base also, most of the people come from pharma backgrounds.
Yes.
Now, we have learned through years of practice when we did this, that we bring in these pharma guys. First 1 year we have to brainwash them. To unlearn what they have learned from pharma. And then tell them that these 3 things in pharma only you apply here, and the rest has to be learned here.
Yeah.
So we did that. So that was a challenge also. It takes time. You acquire a business, so you also set standards that you want to follow. Quality control, quality assurance, benchmarking of your quality, product performance. Now these standards you define very clearly, but you got to learn how to do this right, where you will fail, what can go wrong. You will learn through experiencing.
Yeah.
So we adopted a very interesting model that whenever we created a new product, we would use 2 beta customers. We tell them that there are beta customers, and if they give us the best feedback, we'll make it the life worthwhile for them, that they'll always have the lowest cost product. Guaranteed pricing, that your price to you will be, nobody will get a better price than you from us.
Yeah.
So we built beta customers. We got these 2 beta customers for each product, and we test the products out with them. They will give us solid feedback, and that was the purpose of the US office.
And customers means consumers, or?
No. These were So our model was B2B2C.
B2B2C. Okay.
Right? So you would be a B2B customer, and then we would understand from you what your consumers want.
Yeah.
And how we made the product work for them.
Correct. How does one build a brand in the nutraceutical market? What is it? How is it different from any other industry?
So I think the brand is a very important factor in nutraceuticals, considering that you're dealing with a discretionary spend. See, discretionary spend is something that a consumer decides on his own to spend on. Yeah, the doctor doesn't prescribe it for you.
Correct.
You read about it, you study it, and then you
buy
it. Okay. It's like buying a car.
Yeah.
Why do you want to buy a Mercedes or a BMW or a Porsche or a Audi or a BYD or a MG?
Yeah.
You read about the brand, you understand how it relates to you and your lifestyle, your needs, your expectations in terms of what the product should deliver.
Yeah.
And that's the basis on which you associate yourself with a certain brand type of product. You understand yourself, you relate to the brands based on what the brand should do for your well-being, and then you decide, this suits me. I want to go after this product is something I like.
Yeah.
It looks good. It feels good. It tastes good, and I know it's working for me.
Yeah. Okay. It resonates with me. Yeah.
So that's the first part.
Yeah.
Which means you need to understand your consumers also. Which is why we call ourselves B2B2C. I tell all my salespeople, the constant message is, we need to help our customers sell more to their consumers.
Yeah.
That's our business.
Correct.
If we did that well, we are home dry.
So your client's client is basically who you focus on.
Absolutely. So we need to learn to understand what their consumers are looking for. And we need to be able to tell our customers that, guys, if you switch your positioning in this manner, make these claims, or try these approaches. What we sell is also claims. Okay. We do clinical research.
Yes.
we don't sell a single product which is not clinically studied.
I was going to check for that.
We do human clinicals for every product of ours. We do it very smartly and very effectively because we do a first pilot here in India, which is done cheap. It's a 20-member human study and gives us a quick result of, yes, chal raha hai, humans are responding to it. First we do animal studies here, then we do a human study. And then we go to the US and do a full-blown 200 or 400-member human study in the US.
That's expensive.
Which is $500,000.
Yeah, wow, okay.
And that's what we present to our customers. And we give them the right, when you have claims on your product, okay, the interesting part about this industry is that products that have claims are the ones that can, the customers will only buy those products that have claims studied on their product.
Yes.
You may say that my product is exactly same as Sanjay's, but I have no clinicals. Use his clinicals. Aisa chalta nahi hai.
Yeah. Pharma industry does that quite a lot.
That's right.
Sanjay, in your journey of brand building, and you've built brands like Lutamax, Nextra, Curcuwin, what have been your best practices?
I think first of all you need to be very clear about the difference between B2B branding and B2C branding.
Correct.
Okay. This is an important portfolio. See, B2B is not an easy product to brand. How are you going to brand it and how are you going to convince your customer who's going to be selling his product to use your brand? See, there is no point in having a brand without having usage of it.
Yes.
So the model that you build is critical and extremely valuable. We could build a brand which only differentiates the product, and a lot of companies do that. Tries to differentiate the product from competition as an industrial product.
Find a USP of that product and
find a USP and talk about it, and then call it, my product is called XYZ Plus or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. We looked at branding not from that point. We said we look at branding saying what we need to do is if we are focusing on 20 top brands of the world, okay, or each market, we definitely want to convince them to put our brand, the Intel inside on their packs. Why do we need that? Because our business also gets buttered by other customers who are their liftoffs.
Yes.
The white label companies, the smaller companies that look at a large company and say, "Mere ko bhi aisa product banta hai." Those are also customers of ours.
Yes.
And for them, we don't even go out and sell. They come to us.
Yeah.
To say, "Hey, you are the Lutamax guys. I also want Lutamax 2020 from you."
Correct.
So it drives a lot of business. So that was our whole model. Okay. And so we decided that the way we'll work with these guys is, once you put the branding on their packs, 2-3 things will happen. We'll generate a lot of other business. We'll form a closer and a bonding relationship with this customer. The customer will also find it difficult to shake off that Intel brand on their packs, so that your sticking factor is stronger and longer.
Yes.
You are stuck to the brand for a long time, and you get, so there is a two-way street here. They also give you feedback a lot more because they treat you as partners.
Yeah.
Rather than being a vendor, we would work more as a partner.
Absolutely.
And this branding concept, you have to not sell to the purchasing guys. You have to sell to the marketing and the R&D guys.
Otherwise, it becomes a bloodbath.
Bloodbath.
Yeah.
So how do you stay out of bloodbath and ensure sustainable margins coming to your business through these processes? At the same time, what we work with them on is to say, we also want to connect with your consumers and hear their stories about what they feel about it. Because when they go out to buy other products, I want, even if they change from your brand to a competitor's brand, I want them to ask for, "Isme Lutamax hai ki nahi?"
Got it. Yeah.
That's what I want consumers to ask for.
Nice.
So to do that, I needed to get into the branding in a manner that worked with such companies to say, we'll also give you, the fourth thing we did very wisely is our pricing. Okay. We keep our pricing at a high level, but we work with you on a marketing program where we spend money on your marketing.
Oh, wow.
So instead of giving you a discounted price, we'll give you a marketing rebate or a marketing spend budget.
So you have skin in the game, basically.
We have the skin in the game with our customers.
Yeah. So does that happen? Isme Lutamax hai ki nahi?
It's starting to happen now, significantly.
Yeah.
That's how we have grown.
And is it happening with other brands also?
It's happening with every one of our brands.
Oh, lovely. So you've arrived at that tipping point.
We have arrived at the tipping point with at least those products that are more than, if you look at all our portfolio, we have company products that are greater than $5-6 million. All of those products which when we sell, we consume the smaller guys are coming to us because the consumers are asking them, why don't you have Lutamax in it, or why don't you have Curcuwin in it, why don't you have Ultrasol in it, or this product in it, which is our product.
But tell me, would they ask Curcuwin or would they ask for Curcumin? I'm just saying, why would they ask for a Curcuwin?
Because they have seen Curcuwin as a formula on a product from, let's say, GNC. So they've been buying the GNC product and they say it's Curcuwin. It doesn't sound like Curcumin, so what is Curcumin? They understand it. Then Curcumin is 46 times more bioavailable.
Yeah.
So now they understand that science.
There's a big difference between Curcumin and Curcumin.
Absolutely correct.
And they see the benefit of that.
They see the benefit of that in their bodies.
That's the brand building that you
That's
arrived
the brand
at.
building we arrived
Wow,
at.
that's a fantastic.
And the way we do this is we go through, there are software engines in the US like Suzy and others. I don't know if you've heard of them.
No.
Okay, so Suzy gives you the access to what are called forums, consumer forums, where not 10, 20, not a panel of 10, 20 customers sit and talk about the attributes of a brand, but 5,000 or 7,000 customers you can reach. That can tell you on the net what are the attributes that they look for in a brand and in a branded product. Yeah.
Wow, I think we should read about Suzy for sure.
Suzy is a very interesting software that we use all the time.
Because every day there's a new software coming up and people learn about all these things. Sanjay, now talking about the industry, how has this industry evolved? I mean, you've seen it through 4 decades now. So how has it evolved? I mean, today there's a lot of awareness about these things. Today people want to move towards. You're almost challenging allopathy at some point of time.
So I think what has really worked well for this industry is the fact that, first of all, the players in the industry have taken ownership of this process. Okay, they have taken the ownership of being diligent, applying themselves to meeting laws and creating laws. In fact, there is an act in the US which drove this whole process called DSHIA.
Okay.
And Dietary Supplements and Health Act. Okay. This act was drafted and created by the industry and put through the Congress by the industry. The government had nothing to do with it. Regulation had nothing to do with it. And the industry volunteered to say that once we get this act passed by the Congress, we will volunteer to make sure we follow it.
So it's self-regulated,
Self-created,
self-created.
Wow. No, that is the biggest advantage of this. It used to be, at one point in time, this industry evolved from the mountains of Utah.
Yeah.
The flower children, the
Correct.
hippies, okay, Rajneesh and all those guys, smoking pot and doing grass and all those things. It's from that it has evolved, which is why there was a need to legitimize this whole process.
Yes, absolutely.
And the leaders of this industry understood that very well. So I think they did a fantastic job of putting this DSHIA together.
Very nice.
And I think that has led the industry across the world in effect. What we are trying to do now, a lot of regulators are starting to play a role in refining their processes and systems and controls. But what we are trying to, the whole industry across the globe is trying to do is to build that relationship with the regulators. And like in our case, what we are trying to do is we are getting MOPFI to take over the responsibility as a ministry, and FSSAI and MOPFI work together to drive regulation and compliance from industry, at the same time self-regulation by the industry.
So are you against the allopathic industry?
Not at all. See, what we do is very, very clear. We are not against Ayurvedic, we are not against allopathic, we are not against Chinese system medicine, not against homeopathy. Because we believe there is science in each of them. What we are trying to do is to package science in a very effective way to help customers and consumers. See, how many of you understand homeopathic products? Which is one of the reasons why we don't buy them.
Yeah.
Okay. It's today about on faith, not on the science.
Yeah.
What happens with Ayurveda? I think a lot of people look at Ayurveda and say, there are 20 or 30 ingredients in one bloody kashayam.
Correct.
Now, how many people are going to use it?
Yeah.
Again, every Ayurvedic guy you go to, he talks to you in Sanskrit. Half of us don't really understand Sanskrit also. So what are we going to learn from him? Is in our challenge. It's our challenge, but that's a reality.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why penetration has remained so low.
Correct.
What we saw is that each of these systems have some great science in them. Can we borrow from them and use pages of their history or their science effectively to convert it into a language which a consumer understands, which a basic scientist understands, okay, and provide an answer to a complicated product in a simplified form that helps consumers deal with adapting that ingredient into your life and use it as a preventive healthcare solution.
Yes.
And we identified preventive healthcare because we don't do drugs that solve problems.
Yes.
Okay, we only help you
Live better.
live better and build a system build your system effectively to build immunity and the resilience to be able to fight diseases.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Sure.
I mean, if we take our biggest product, which is Lutamax 2020, it's a product for the eye health. All human beings have lutein in their eyes.
Yes.
Okay. All mammals do. Okay. And lutein helps you do visual acuity and see clearly and develop the depth of field. And the reverse of this is AMD, the advanced macular degeneration. So macula degenerates because UV rays hit it, and there is nothing to protect it.
Yeah.
You need a coating on your macula of zeaxanthin and lutein together that sacrifices itself and does not let your macula get affected.
Got it.
So as it sacrifices itself, you need adequate coating, which means you need regular uptake of zeaxanthin and lutein, and that comes from your fruit and vegetables. You have to eat a lot of palak, a lot of kale, and a lot of peaches and watermelons.
Yeah.
To be able to, or mangoes.
Which none of us do.
Which none of us do.
Yeah.
How much do we eat?
Yeah.
Okay. You can't eat
Palak every day.
10 gram palak every day. You can't eat it. It's not going to happen. Nobody going to eat that. 10 gram methi. So one day you eat palak, then one day you eat methi, one day you eat kale, and you will get fed up with each other. Yeah. We want a variation in our diet.
It's like hospital food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and think about children.
Yeah.
They are never going to eat this. Yeah.
Never, ever.
So how will they build that into the system? And that's where we have created products for children. We have created products for lactating mothers, so that it goes down to the children, in the womb as well, and that lutein stays. And added to that, we have now introduced new problems for the eye. We have introduced blue light.
Yeah, correct.
See, cell phones, computer screens, TV screens are all blue light. The blue light affects the UV rays. It hits your eye very hard, and it eats away that lutein, which means to replenish for the blue light exposure, you need to increase your dosage.
I think when you launched Setu, that time you went very aggressive on eye health. I remember.
Yeah, we tried that, but it didn't. Indian consumers have not taken to it so aggressively.
Yeah.
I think they're still learning what they need to do. So we modified the Setu line a little differently and created a whole new range of products that the Indian consumers have found acceptable.
How's Setu doing, by the way?
Very well.
Yeah. What's so great about Setu? I mean, why should we be all aware
So
about
the products are again very nicely designed for efficacy. They use great ingredients, and they use formulas that deliver results that are visible, and you can feel them in your eye or in your skin or in your hair, nails and things, beauty treatments. So Setu is focused largely on women's products.
Women product.
Women product.
And that is e-commerce driven.
That's pure 100% e-commerce.
Driven. You have no retail
Zero.
presence at all.
Zero.
At all.
And it's not B2B, it's only direct B2C.
How do we build a brand on e-commerce then? I mean, I'm talking about Setu now.
So it's turned out well. We were originally doing a lot of work with Amazon,
Yeah.
but we found Amazon not the right platform for us. So we built our own website, native website.
Yeah.
We do 70% of our sales through our own native website.
Oh, really? That's a dream for most e-commerce players.
Absolutely
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So what that gives us is direct access to consumers. And we have all the databases in our system.
Yeah.
We know which consumer is buying what and why.
Yeah.
In fact, my son, who's founded the company, who's running it, if you buy more than 1,500 rupees worth of products on Setu, you'll get a call from him personally.
Oh, wow.
Even today, he calls every one of his 1,500 rupee customers to say, Alim, thanks for buying this. I'm Nihal, I'm the founder of Setu. And I wanted to know what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, how did the whole process go, and what can I improve.
Lovely. That's a great initiative. I think these young entrepreneurs have it within them to do it.
Superb it is. So he says, I need to keep time for things like this. I have a good team and I'll train them up and they'll do the work, but I need to do
the ground reality of the
ground reality. So what he does is he talks to consumers and he works on his analytical team to analyze the data and come up with the theories that how to change advertising, which advertising use best. They change advertising every week.
Yeah, true.
And they put in advertisements that bring them new customers all the time.
Yeah. So does he have it in his DNA or is it his own?
Good question. So that brings me to actually one of the first points I want to make with you, which is, what are the 2 important days of your life? I don't know if you thought about this, but
The 2 important days of my life. Okay, I don't know. You'll have to get me that.
so to me, I say one is the day you were born.
The day you were born.
Okay, because that's
Absolutely.
celebration, you were born.
Yes.
And the second is the day you figure out why you were born.
Wow, that's deep.
No, that's deep thinking. So why were you born? Okay, and where were you born? So why was I born in this family? I mean, I could have been born anywhere else.
Yeah.
Okay, why me? Why this family? And then I looked at it and said, because this is an entrepreneur family and they wanted me, somebody wanted me to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That's why they put me here. Now, am I going to take that entrepreneurship initiative or am I not going to take the entrepreneurship initiative?
True.
So, is it in your DNA? I don't know whether it's in your DNA, but if you think about this, then you start figuring out that if there is in your DNA, it doesn't matter, but I'm going to do something about it because I'm born in this entrepreneur family. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to create jobs. I want to create opportunities. I want to create wealth. That's what entrepreneurs do.
True. Absolutely well said. Now, moving on from Setu and talking about the industry again, what are the most exciting trends happening? I mean, there's so much innovation happening over here. What are you seeing in the nutraceutical space and where do you see it going now?
So I think this the fundamentals of preventive healthcare is the platform that we should focus on here for nutraceuticals. That's the correct platform. You look at the cost of healthcare across the world.
Yeah.
It's going to rise and
Yes.
it continues to rise.
Yes.
The cost of healthcare is becoming prohibitive for the people who are in using it, like you and me, consumers. Is becoming prohibitive for the corporates that employ such people or government services. Is becoming prohibitive for the economies in largely, and is becoming prohibitive also for the economies to sustain this as they get older in age. Because as people get older in age and move out of productive employment phase, somebody has to pay for those guys. So that money that goes to the non-working pensioners and other people has to be borne by people like us who are working. Okay, now that's going to again increase costs. The fourth thing that's happening is people are living longer.
Yeah.
Today, people ask me, what's your take on people's ability to live up to 100 to 125 years? I said, science exists today for people, you and I, to live for 125 years. Mentally, are we ready to live for 125 years?
True.
That's the question.
Yeah.
I believe we give up mentally faster than our physical bodies will give up. Okay. That's the reality of today's life.
Yeah.
But 125 years, life is not far for even people in India. Okay. So, if you want to live to 125 years, first of all, you need to work till you are 70 to 80.
Correct.
So, if you want to work till you are 70, 80, you need to have sharp brains, sharp eyesight, and sharp physical positioning to be able to be at work every day and be able to do the things that you were always doing. Maybe it changes a little bit. For example, even at this age today, I'm 65 years old, I do less of what I was doing earlier. So I travel less, somebody else travels more.
Yeah.
That's fair. But I still have to use my brain, no?
Yeah,
And it has to stay sharp.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't be fading off in meetings. So
Unless it's a very boring meeting.
Unless it's a very boring meeting, then you stand up and say, boss, meeting band karo bhi yaar. So that's the reality of the future. And with that in place, I think in nutraceutical industry has a huge potential to meet the needs of these discretionary consumers who will look at products that they can spend money on based on individual need. So what is personalization and custom medicine? I think there's a lot of hue and cry about personalization. Yes. Personalization is really about figuring out what works for you. And why. I mean, if I have an energy tablet every day, you may not need it. I might need it. So that's personalization for me. You may have a severe problem in the eye and you may have a genetic defect in your eye, so you may need a glaucoma product or maybe the lutein supplementation significantly large volumes. I may not need it. Again, it's personalization. So I think that's where nutraceutical can help very significantly. The third thing is that the nutraceutical industry is you see, it's like SIPs. If you systematically pay every day certain amount of money for your well-being, you will not need a crisis management solution.
Interesting.
Which is going to a doctor for a surgery or or a large scale treatment. Okay, that's what we try and do. We try to convince you that it's a SIP.
Interesting, very interesting take on taking wellness supplements like an SIP, and then when the time comes, you don't need to take a big loan.
That's right. That's the whole point. You see.
Yeah, absolutely, great. So, where do you see this industry going now? 5-10 years, this is going to change a lot more, right? Where do you see it? What are the emerging trends? What are the breakthroughs? What is it, the plans that Omniactive has?
So a lot is going to come further in these areas. I think there will be wider and more realistic segmentation of the markets, because segmentations will increase. More and more people will look at using these products in different formats and different ways of adapting them. And take, for example, gummies. Gummies is a very interesting trend that has emerged. So using gummies to deliver nutrition is a very interesting concept. Children love it, so that they are willing to adopt. Try and give your kid a spoonful of Benadryl versus a Chewy with Benadryl in it.
Correct. Yeah.
See the difference?
Yeah.
And it's not children, it's also adults.
Yeah.
Adapting to a easy format is much easier. Ready to drink sports beverages, okay. Muscle. See, realizing the science also brings you value that you don't know. Okay. I mean, take cramps. You get muscle cramps after exercise.
Yeah.
Why? Because your muscle restoration needs to take place. For which we can give you solutions which are beverage driven. You drink it post exercise, and it will help you with your muscle recovery much faster.
Yeah.
Or Capsimax is one of our products, or Capsimax Plus is a very interesting product, which helps you burn more calories for the same amount of exercise you do.
Oh wow.
So you do 2 hours or 45 minutes of a treadmill, you're burning maybe 220 or 240 calories. With Capsimax, you will burn 600.
I think I'm going to take a few of these before I leave from today.
So this is interesting.
Sanjay, I'll move absolutely 360 now. I want to know, what are the 5 things I can learn from your life? I mean, it's been a beautiful journey from family business, coaching, and 24 years, and coming back to Bombay, Omniactive, now working regulatory, government.
So I just put together a few things which I thought was my experience in my 65 years of life. Okay. So what are my management mantras? I think it's few things I've learned which I think are important to share. See, business is about creation, emotion, and passion. Okay. Profit is a product of it.
Yes.
So you need to apply creativity to getting anything done. You have to bring some emotion into how it is perceived. You see, emotion helps communicate and onboard a lot of people. Okay. If the more emotion I show to my team, okay, the more they are committed to working with me. So
vulnerability matters.
Vulnerability, as well as what I call what I need to really do is I'm not directing. I'm influencing my team to get things done, and that happens out of emotional reaching and connecting with you emotionally, in a way, to say why you should do this.
Correct.
And passion is what you see in things you do. I mean, simple things like when you build a plant, okay, why don't you build a world-class plant? Why do you have to build a second-class plant?
True.
Why, when you buy equipment, okay, why not buy the best equipment in the world? Okay. So my mantras are very simple. You want to buy a nice car, buy the best car. German cars are the best cars. Use a nice German car, whatever you can afford is my philosophy. If you buy nice clothes, I love it. I think the Italians make the best clothes. Buy Italian clothes because they do a great job of it. When you buy pharmaceuticals, buy best Indian pharmaceuticals. Okay.
I love it.
And because we make the
There's
best.
some biasness over there.
There's bias, but we know we are the best in terms of cost economic delivery.
Yes. Okay.
And we can see it in each of our businesses, which is what we have done in our model. Okay, you looked at it, we looked at the whole world, what other people are doing in this business. And we saw that there are no justification of being there. We can take a huge chunk of this market and build a huge profitable business out of it. And we have done it today. We become number 1 in routine in the world.
Yes,
so
yes.
with this through this process, okay. And profit will come if you price it right. Profit will come. I think that's only a matter of fine-tuning your pricing. Then growth happens by doing things you are unqualified to do.
Growth happens by doing things you're unqualified.
Unqualified to do. That's how you grow. You learn and you adapt to something new. Okay, you suddenly realize that when I have to, for example, I'm unqualified today to do, let's say, biotech. You don't have the skills or the capability in the company.
Yeah.
But if I want to grow, that may be the way I want to start investing. That's where I want to start putting money into it.
Correct.
So then in 3 to 5 years time, I get into the biotech space that can help. So, so selective fermentation, for example. So we depend a lot on agriculture. Can we switch from agriculture to growing our raw material in situ?
Yeah.
And have control over them? I think it will be a huge advantage in the long run because, climate change is a certainty that's going to happen. That is going to affect agriculture crops across the world.
Yes.
So availability of agriculture will be more expensive and difficult. Where will the water need to go? Our water resources are scarce, and in years to come, water is going to get worse. Wars are going to be fought for water. Water needs to go to make food available to humans rather than growing marigold flowers or paprika chilies, which means I have to grow those materials in situ.
Yeah.
To do that, I'll have to create doing things that I'm unqualified to do today.
True.
That's how my growth will come.
Nice.
So this is another big mantra which is important from my point of view, the learnings that I said. I think the other question is get a wide angle vision.
Okay.
Who are your future defining customers? Customers that will define your future. Which customers you want to be at? Okay. Who are the guys who are really scoring and moving forward? I think you may not know them today because tomorrow a new customer will come out of like Blink has come.
Yeah.
What did we know about Blink? Who had thought about Blink 3 years ago?
Correct.
But that's a future defining customer.
Yeah.
Benchmark against new emerging technologies and companies, not old ones. Okay. So against new emerging technologies and companies are not the old ones. Okay. Old ones are done and dusted. I think focus on the future companies. Those that are going to challenge you.
Yes.
Being cunning and smart, speed and surprise.
Okay. So being cunning is a good thing.
So cunning in the right way.
Yeah.
You got to be sharp and clear about what you are going to compete on. See, competitiveness is cunning. In some ways. Yeah. So you got to be ready for a battle and you got to be smart with these guys. Yeah. Treat software as forklift for the mind.
Interesting. I've never read that before.
How do you get people's minds to think a little higher?
Yeah.
Okay. We have been doing things in a certain way. Can we now get them to think differently and use a forklift to say, idhar ma socho, idhar socho.
Yeah.
Invest only in what is valuable to your customer.
Wow.
So one thing we said is that our plants and labs have to be the world's best because that's what the customer is looking for. This is important.
So don't unnecessarily invest in frill just to make yourself happy. If it's adding value to your customer, then invest in it. Otherwise, don't invest.
That's right.
Yeah.
Then the next question I ask myself is, do you hire all the same people?
Yeah.
So sometimes we have, ये अपने organization fit हो जाएगा, वो अच्छा है.
Correct.
But some people are better than the others. Some people are a hell of a lot better than the others.
Yeah.
You got to figure out who's the hell of a lot better people.
Yeah.
The cracked ones let in the light. Sometimes you need the cracked ones to let in the light. Okay, if you look at a floor and there's a crack in it, that's where the light is coming from.
Correct.
You need the cracked ones to bring something into play. Okay.
Think differently. Yeah.
Hire the best talent in each industry segment to build best proprietary intangibles.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want IP, you want technology solutions, you want those things. You need to be able to get in people who are willing to try, who have passion, emotion, and say, no, I believe in this, I want to make this happen. Those kind of people you want to. The question you want to ask yourself, are there enough weird people in your laboratories?
Are there enough?
Weird people in your laboratories.
Weird people in your laboratories.
People who are thinking out the box and asking you difficult questions, okay? Or are want to chase experiments that are strange and oddball experiments, but these weird people are the ones who will achieve breakthroughs.
Correct.
They may not be able to get along with other people.
Yeah.
When you R&D, I have a very special thing. I said, I hired the guy for his technical knowledge, not because he is emotional or connect as a team member. He is irrelevant to me.
Correct.
He can be sitting in one isolated room and producing fantastic results, but that's the guy I need. I don't need a guy who is saying, अच्छा टीम मेंबर है, बहुत सबको बैकस्लैपिंग करता है, सबको मोटिवेट करता है, लेकिन रिजल्ट कुछ लाता नहीं है तो मतलब क्या हो गया?
Correct.
I think that's important.
Lovely.
And a leader is a dealer in hope. That's my other philosophy. You create a visionary, a talent mentor, inspired profit mechanic, and a technical dreamer and a developer. That's what you need in a leader.
You should write a book on philosophy just on these things.
It'll be fun, yeah. So hope that answers your
Absolutely,
question.
absolutely. So Sanjay, you said you're 65 years old and you're going to live 125. So what's next for you?
So I'm going to try and do now things which are a little different. I want to do less of this running around and thing. We brought the company to a very interesting level. It's grown to 1,000 crores. It's been extremely profitable. Okay, and we have never lost money ever in our life. Okay, from year one we made profits.
Wow.
Okay, we've chosen to do that and we stuck with that model. And we said we should look at what happens next in terms of what is next good for the company. I think the company needs more investments and some more growth. Perhaps M&A is one of the answers that we seek. Okay, we buy smaller, medium-sized companies and bring them and bolt them on together and create a naturals giant across the world. I want to perhaps do that not just in India but also in, I think, Europe. European companies are in dire state now. Europe itself is in trouble, so there may be good nuggets to buy out of there. Good technologies will be available which we can bring here and put them in place. Good customer access is available, we should use that. Bring that here and create new pathways of growth for the future. We will have to do a little bit of what I call what we don't know growth. That's how you grow. Okay.
Yeah.
So we will need to get into perhaps some amount of vertical integration into doing finished formats which go to certain markets, not necessarily all markets. So these are the areas which I'm going to guide the company to grow. I'm going to bring on, I've built a solid team and I'm looking for one good CEO. I hope to find a good CEO so I can delegate a lot more to him. And slowly I can take time out to do what I love to do, which is my passion.
Lovely, we're going to take pictures of that.
Taking pictures.
Yeah.
I spend 3 to 4, every quarter I spend a week in wildlife.
Oh, lovely.
Taking pictures.
Every quarter you spend 3 to 4?
3 to 4 days.
3 to 4 days
A
in
week,
wildlife.
a week in the
and
wildlife
across
sanctuary.
the world.
Across the world.
Lovely, lovely. Which has been the most interesting one?
This one, the snow leopard, up in
this one?
Yeah, up in the Himalayas. Where Himachal and the Ule Valley.
Lovely.
That's where I got these shots of the snow leopard.
Okay, I thought these were Masai Mara, but no.
No, this is snow leopard. This is very rare, and you see it only in. You see that blue sheep up there. That's also in the same zone. There is ice and snow there already. This guy was a bit below the snow line.
Okay.
They came down to hunt for food below the snow line. Yeah.
I mean, it's lucky to spot these things. I'm sure it takes a lot of effort.
It took me 5 days of standing on the side of a mountain corner.
Oh, that's perseverance.
Okay, 4 days we were standing there in minus 15 degrees temperatures. Okay, in Leh at 14,000 feet above sea level.
Oh my God.
Okay, in February.
That is commitment.
That's emotion, passion, and commitment. That's the fun part. But you stand there with your camera stuck there, and then when somebody says there is the thing, click, 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 you get 1,000 shots out of which you pick out 3 or 4 good shots like this.
Thank you, Sanjay. Wonderful conversation.
Good.
I just want to say that today's conversation was as eye-opening as the glimmer you see in Sanjay's eyes every time you talk to him and the passion you see in his eyes. So I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Please look out for more episodes and thank you for watching. Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you again. Wonderful talking to you.